Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to deconstruct a modern one-person business, not by talking to the owner, but by looking at their digital breadcrumbs. We're going to piece together a whole professional identity, from things like business cards, service lists, and online profiles, to see just how a solo empire gets built these days. Let's dive in. You know, it's a classic question, right? But boy, has it changed in the digital age. How do you actually build a professional identity when your entire storefront might just be a collection of PDFs and a few online profiles? That's what we're going to investigate here, how one person is doing exactly that, building a brand from the ground up, one digital brick at a time. All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll put together a profile of our entrepreneur. Then, we'll dig into their core business. After that, we'll look at how they've branched out. We'll analyze the brand they've built around it all. And finally, we're going to ask the big question. Is this some kind of new blueprint for being a solopreneur?
Okay, so the person at the center of all this is Gaurav Deep Gautam. And like I said, we're not interviewing him. We're basically acting like digital archaeologists, piecing together his professional world, using only the public documents tied to his business.
And right off the bat, we can see this consistent but kind of multifaceted digital footprint. There's one mobile number, a single solid point of contact across everything. But look at the emails. 3 different ones. You can almost imagine one is for general inquiries, another for this service, another for that. We also get an official entrepreneur ID and an enterprise name, ASMC. So this is the trail we're starting with. So, with those details in hand, what's the actual official business here? Well, it turns out the whole foundation for this enterprise is built on one very specific thing: insurance. The first thing you see, stamped across multiple documents, is this official role: Government Authorized Advisor. Now, that's important. This isn't a title he just gave himself. It's an official designation. It gives him a baseline of credibility and legitimacy. You could say it's the anchor for everything else he builds on top of it.
And here's the hard proof of that legitimacy. This isn't just a claim. We've got a concrete, verifiable credential, an agency code. This code links him directly to a major player, the Life Insurance Corporation of India. This is his license to operate, the official stamp of approval.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Alongside his professional role, we see this list of academic credentials. A master's in mathematics? Okay, that totally fits with the analytical world of finance and insurance. But then an MA in political science and studies in international relations and marketing? This paints a picture of someone with a seriously diverse set of skills. You're not just getting a numbers guy. Okay, so you have this solid, credentialed foundation in insurance. Where do you go from there? You expand, right? And that's exactly what we see next. How this business starts to diversify and build a much bigger enterprise on top of that core.
And this really is the key question for any growing business. How do you leverage what you're good at to offer more? In this case, the answer isn't just selling more insurance. No, it's a really strategic expansion into related but totally distinct services.
And here they are. The business branches out into 3 key areas: investment, marketing, and market research. And these aren't just random additions. You can see the logic, right? Each one of these plays on the skills we saw in his academic background, and they all complement his core role as a financial advisor. It's smart.
First up is investment. I mean, this is a natural next step, isn't it? If you're a financial advisor, helping clients put their money to work in things like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds makes total sense. And look, this isn't just some vague idea. It's a real productized service with a clear starting price, 7,000 rupees. It's packaged and ready to sell.
Next up, marketing. Remember that marketing qualification from his profile? Well, here it is in action. And what's really smart about this is how it's presented. The entire description is in Hindi. That's a deliberate choice. It tells you exactly who he's targeting: local businesses and people in his region. And once again, look at that price point. Just over 1,500 rupees. That's a really low barrier to entry, which could be super attractive for smaller businesses that need a hand with marketing but don't have a huge budget.
Now, this might be the most unique offering of them all: market research. The description itself is just fascinating. It's written in both Sanskrit and Hindi. Using Sanskrit, an ancient classical language, is such a powerful branding move. It suggests tradition, deep knowledge, authority, but then the Hindi keeps it accessible. It's brilliant.
So we have the services, but it's not enough to just have them. How do you present them? This is where we get into the art of branding. A solopreneur doesn't have a big marketing department. They have to build their own authority. And one of the simplest yet most powerful tools to do that is a title.
This slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. On the left, you have the official, verifiable titles: agent, advisor. That's the foundation. But on the right, for these new diversified services, a whole new persona emerges. Suddenly, he's not just an agent, he's a CEO, a researcher, an organization leader, a chief.
And here's Exhibit A. Attached right to the description for the investment service is this little tag, by CEO Gauravdeep Gautam. See what that does? He's not just an advisor offering a service anymore. He's the CEO of an enterprise. It totally reframes the entire thing. And then for the marketing service, we get this, BM Management. Now, the spelling's a little off, but forget that for a second. Think about what that word implies. It suggests this service isn't coming from just one guy. It's coming from management, which creates the impression of a larger, more established organization. And finally, for that really unique market research service, the one in Sanskrit and Hindi, we get this title, by Chief Gauravdeep Gautam. The word chief carries all these connotations of leadership, deep expertise, and authority. It just fits perfectly with the traditional, scholarly vibe of the pitch. Okay, we've pulled apart the identity, the core business, the diverse services, the branding. So what? What does this all mean when you put it back together? What can we actually learn from watching this one-person business operate?
Well, here's the strategy when you deconstruct it. At the heart of it all, you have one person. They start with a core, totally verifiable business, in this case insurance, to build that all-important credibility. From there, they add on diversified services, all under a powerful personal brand. They use these big self-appointed titles like CEO and chief to project authority. They even use different languages to target specific audiences. And the result is this digital presence that might look fragmented, but it's actually completely cohesive.
And that leaves us with one big question to chew on. Is this the model? Is this combination of a legitimate, verifiable core, smart service diversification, and just masterful personal branding, is this the new blueprint for how to succeed as a solopreneur? Is this how you build an empire of one in today's world? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.